Welcome y'all to today's video. I know it's been a little while since I posted a good video, and I apologize for that. I've been working on a lot of stuff with the car and everything, and I figured I'd do a little update, just kind of go over, you know, how the car runs and drives now versus before. Take a look at how those forced induction interchiller spacers and everything have helped and how they're working. So if you would please, first things first on this video, please hit that like button. It really helps me out. Also leave some comments for me, any questions y'all got, anything you think about it, if you like seeing this video. So I'm just taking the car out for a drive. I am driving it over to a town about a half an hour away from my house, just doing a bunch of street driving and just putting more miles on it. I've got about 200-ish miles on the new setup. If y'all haven't seen, this is a Rick Crawford built short block, fully forged, and it's got a big 4800 stall. Let me turn off that radar detector just to help y'all out. That might get a little bit annoying. So anyways, first off, here's my IATs. Of course, the IAT1, the intake air is coming down the intake tube, and then the IAT2 is the blower temperature. So now that I'm accelerating, it picked up the IAT2 up a little bit, but as of right now, the coolant that's circulating through the brick and through the supercharger and everything has it so cool, and it has not heat soaked yet. So the blower is actually running colder than the intake air temp, which is something that normally did not happen. Normally, the IAT2 stayed about where the intake temp was until it started going up and beyond to where the blower temperature was hotter than the actual intake air temp itself. And it usually ran about 15 degrees or so off of that. But now with that thermal blanket and the spacers and everything, I mean, to me it's just amazing. It takes so much longer for it to even heat soak. And for a while, it even stays below it. So I think the thermal blanket and the spacer between the cylinder heads and the blower itself, just keeping it from the hot engine, really keeps it from getting heat soaked. Now, if I were to do a pull or do a run, it would start to heat up some. They recover so fast. And on nice days, when I'm just cruising along, it's been staying within 2 to 5 degrees quite often. At the worst, it gets to where it's like around 10 degrees. So again, that's a lot better than what it was. Now, I'm not sure if you can hear, there's a little bit of vibration right now. I'm sitting at a stoplight and in drive, foot on the brake, and that vibration is from the polyurethane engine mounts. So the main thing that I've noticed with them, they are much more firm, and the only time that they're somewhat kind of annoying is at idle, because at idle you have a little bit of this rattle. Here, as you can see, again, the intake air temp says I'm sitting here. The intake air temp is climbing because we're just sitting. But the IAT2, the blower temps, they're staying way down. So those spacers, while they're not cheap, they do definitely make a difference. You can kind of see how the stall is driving. As I'm trying traffic. So I'm gonna be going on with the video and still trying to give y'all information as I think about it, and just kind of still an overview while I'm trying to drive as well. So, but some people like to see, like, okay, if you put a real big Rick Crawford spec 4800 stall, what does it drive like, you know, in the real world? What is it like? I still have the stock transmission cooler. The transmission temps have still been doing fine. When I asked Rick, he said that the stock trans cooler he felt like was sufficient, and it has been. So that's been doing fine. Alright, so now we've been cruising a little bit. So now, finally, 6 minutes or so into the trip, well, now they're perfectly matched. So it was about 3 degrees. See, now we're 2 degrees within. Sorry for the glare. I'm trying to find just the right angle for y'all to help you out. So yeah, 416 cubic inch. I put that overdrive pulley on there, which the overdrive pulley going from a 2.5 upper to a 2.38 upper with a 9.55 lower got me back to between 14.5 and 15 pounds of boost. So my boost had fallen down to 12.5 pounds a boost from 16 pounds. And the main changes being obviously the difference in the cubic inches, difference in compression, going up in compression to 11.2 to 1 from the stock, which was 9.1 to 1, plus the heads were milled a little bit. And let me think of what else changed. The cam also having a bigger cam and different valve events. Obviously your cam that you choose can affect the boost level depending on how much it, you know, bleeds off. Again, boost is also a reference just really of restriction. So if you make things more efficient, then boost pressure will bleed off. So check back in with our intake air temps. 91 degrees intake temp and 96 degrees on the blower. So we're within 5. Now we're within 7. And the temperature outside is reading 90 degrees. So it's not a cold day outside. So for it to be keeping up like this, again, to me, just impresses me. I would normally be, like I said, about 15 degrees off, which isn't bad in and of itself. Rundown of the coolant system is you got the EMP pump. I've got a dedicated motorsports trunk tank and a CNR intercooler and a ZL1 lid and brick. Obviously it's been reinforced. So the car picks up speed very effortlessly. It didn't even downshift. It's just 6th gear, just giving it a little bit. So again, another thing changed back to the boost. The other change on it is that I did all that porting on the intake ports and the fuel injector bosses and all that. So doing all that porting will obviously help also make it more efficient and could also lower boost. So yeah, all those things played a part in it. But it's certainly drivable. it's not bad at all. So having also a lower amount of miles on it, the car is still learning the whole lockup function as well. So that plays a part in it as well. The tire pressure monitoring sensor light that y'all probably seen is on is the only light that's on in the car, and that's because I have my rear drag pack on, which is a Mickey Thompson ET Street R 305/45 on a 17 Weld S71 beadlock. So that's the only reason that light is on. So I have a highly modified car with a bigger engine and all sorts of modifications. No check engine light. Runs and drives and cruises just fine. So anyways, hope that y'all have enjoyed this video. We're still within 9 degrees on our temperature. Temperature here is saying 93 degrees outside. So some of the main things I figured y'all would be interested in was the stall converter and how it drove, also the intake air temps, and then also the pulleys, the supercharger pulley that I changed out and what combination I'm running. Obviously the blower is very overdriven at 2.38 and 9.55. So again, I think that's a testament to being within 9 degrees on the temperatures. So, another thing I'll go over, and another thing that slowed me down a little bit on videos, is I did the fuel rail upgrade. Going to the radium fuel rails, the car drives much smoother. The other fuel rails, the stock ones, they had harmonics issues, which some of y'all may have noticed, and some people complain of hot start issues. I haven't had many hot start issues with the stock fuel rails, but when you're trying to flow a lot of fuel, and I'm on pump E85, alcohol percent right now I think is around 70%. And so with that, there the converter's locked in. So at 75, doing near 2 grand. So still stock. I'm still running the stock transmission as well, and it's still doing great. I have Rick Crawford tune on the car, and in my opinion he is the very best, or one of the very best. He's been very helpful, and I just can't say enough good things about Rick. So on the fuel rails, I was getting some part throttle misfires, and that helped clean it up a whole lot, changing the fuel rails. And then also my boost dropped, so Rick Crawford suggested going to the 2.38 pulley, because I needed some more pulley to get the boost back up a little bit. And then the next thing I ran into while logging and while doing testing, at first everything was fine and doing great, and then I had an issue where the DSX auxiliary fuel pump didn't kick on, and thankfully I was logging and Rick helped me catch it, and the fuel pressure fell way off during actually the third gear hit that y'all have seen on the channel. So the car would have pulled even harder if it didn't lean out. And so I had to do a whole bunch of testing on that and trying to figure out what the issue was. Why did the pump not come on? Was the pump bad? And was the module bad? And do a bunch of testing. And I think I'm gonna make a separate video on that for some of the procedure to go through and things you can do to test your auxiliary fuel pump and the ways that I did it. So I'll probably make a video on that. But what happened was long story short, the harness that has the module in it, it went bad. And I had a very old one back from probably around 2017, at least 4 years old. It's not the newer one that has the lights on it and the button that you can hit to prime the pump. It was not one of those. So we'll check in again on our temperatures. 9 degrees, and I'm following a truck, so the heat exchanger is not getting a lot of air right now, probably. So, but back to the story, it went lean and I had to do a bunch of testing, and the fuel pump harness and module ended up going out. So I talked to DSX. They were extremely helpful. I cannot say enough good stuff about them. I know for sure there towards the end I was talking to Dave, and I'm not sure if I've talked to some of the others because I was messaging them back and forth on Facebook, and then also did a little email with them. And they were super nice, very helpful, and actually warranted the fuel pump harness. So again, I really cannot say enough good stuff about the guys over at DSX. I mean, they probably could have charged me for it and said, hey, it's had 4 years on it and stuff. I don't know if their stuff has a lifetime warranty or not, but they shipped me one out. It came the very next day. They shipped it early one morning. It came the very next afternoon to me. So I told them I was trying to get the car ready to run pretty good and take it out to a car show and all that, so they didn't even charge me. So I can't say enough good stuff about them and the way that they support their product and have helped me out. So now that I got the harness back on, I've done some more testing, and the auxiliary pump is coming on as it should. So I got that problem fixed. One main takeaway I'll say is, anytime you do a lot of modifications to a vehicle, still at 9 degrees, anytime that you do a lot of modifications to a vehicle, you know, lots of people on the outside get caught up on, man, that is such a sweet car, and man, that 416 build is so cool and everything. But some people don't see behind the scenes all the different stuff that you have to do to, you know, take care of little knick-knack problems that may arise, or other things that may need to be upgraded later on, or having a fuel pump mess up on you just out of nowhere. So, and little things like that can slow me down when I'm trying to make videos, or, you know, want to go out and do some wide open throttle shots and things like that. So I appreciate all y'all for your support though through it all, while I've been trying to troubleshoot all these issues and do everything in between working 2 jobs and everything else I've got going on. So anyhow, I was lucky enough putting the engine in and putting the stall in and everything. I didn't really have any major issues, so I was all good there as far as that goes. And yeah, just fuel rails, upper pulley, and auxiliary fuel pump harness, and that was it. That was the only things I really had to do and track down. So outside of that, the motor swap went beautifully. Everything's been running good. Oil pressure's been doing good. At 100 miles, I did a hot oil change per Rick's instructions and swapped over to full synthetic. And with 5W40 oil at hot idle, it's right around 40 pounds, and at wide open throttle it gets up to around in the 80s with the Melling 10296 pump with the spring that it comes with. So some of y'all might find that interesting. So power quite a bit. The blower has a little bit more noise even than it did before with the 2.38. Check on our temps again. We're at 7 degrees. And again, we're in park. Well, I'm sorry, we're in drive, foot on the brake, and you can again kind of hear the vibration probably if the camera's picking it up. So, and again, the temps as I'm sitting here, the intake air temp is going up, but the blower temp is not really rising that fast. Having a hard time focusing at times. I'm trying to hold it semi-still. But I'm almost to my destination, so I'm gonna get ready to wrap up this video. Again, if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing to the channel. Let me know what videos that you'd like to see, and also if there's some more reviews that you would like to see. Let me know if you enjoyed seeing this video and also seeing how a car like this drives and all that. Just let me know what y'all think, and if you've enjoyed this, or if it's been helpful, or if you've learned anything. So like I said, I'll try to do a video and go into detail on the DSX fuel pump troubleshooting that I did, and do that at another time. Because I think that would be helpful for some of y'all. I didn't really see anything out on YouTube, and when I used Google, I didn't really see anything that necessarily said what the procedure is for testing one out and all that. I'm not sure exactly what is the main thing that's rattling. Might be the air vent, because now it's a little quieter. So anyways, I appreciate y'all watching this video. Please, if you haven't, consider subscribing. Please consider putting a thumbs up on the video, and I appreciate y'all for watching and for all of your support. Thanks.